Ah, yes, the rare teleporting foxes. Nature's
Like
evolution.
I saw one out there holding a stick in its mouth for some damn reason.
Because why
And I
not?
was like, I gotta take a picture of you. And I grabbed my camera, and when I held it up, it was like, just faded away.
They know.
The stick was to attack you. I hope you realize this.
Hmm?
The stick was like, okay, I'm gonna sneak behind this human, and I'm gonna bap him. Oh crap, he spotted me.
I'm big and they are small. If one of them attacks me, I'm just gonna scoop it up and just like lift it up until it stops wiggling, and I'm gonna be like, "Yep, we're friends now, you and me."
Yeah, no, that reminds me. The other day, while I was at my family's 4th of July thing, they had some friends. I think my aunt invited, and they had a 15-week-old like terrier. And so, like, when they needed to take it anywhere, like to go outside, make it do its business, the husband would just pick it up like a football, just scoop. Okay, we're going now. And I was like, what an existence.
Just scoop. Oh.
It's like that's not a. They're not mad. He's not mad. He's like, I'm getting spoiled. I don't have to walk for shit.
Literally.
Yeah, no, just right under the underbelly, just scoop. Yep, no, we're going. Fits in the palm of my hand.
That reminds me of back when my parents had gotten the miniature dachshund, and I remember when we went and picked him out and brought him home, the little guy just literally fit within the cups of my two hands when they were a pup. And they were so precious.
As a hot dog should.
Mm-hmm. And of course we had to name him Oscar because... But anyway, hello everybody in chat.
Yes, hello. We are waiting for Draco to appear. I think they are on their way home, I believe.
In the meantime, Fawn, take this. Hiya!
Oh, well, thank you for the resub, Milla. Holy shit, it's been 10 months.
I know, right?
We've been doing this for 10 months. Oh god.
Man, it doesn't feel like 10 months.
Ignore that.
Also, I noticed that your thing is the ghost in Molly McGee. I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense for you.
I mean, it's a hilarious show, plus I love Master Shake, the lovable ghost.
Well, it's also the fact that he is basically, I imagine he is the ghost version of you.
I mean, pretty close, yes. Scratch is my spirit animal. Plus, I need something now that both Amphibia and Owl House are nearly complete.
God, that was Owl House. I don't know if I'll be able to stand this next 3 specials.
Well, I certainly can, mostly because I need my damn closure.
No, I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to get through it emotionally.
I said goodbye to my emotions a long time ago, about the same time I became a One Piece fan and started to be current.
Oh boy, how's that battle go on?
Oh god, you fought that battle too? Yeah. I hadn't read the manga since like they went to Mink, and I was like, how long could it take to read all this? 4 days later.
Oh,
For
yeah.
continuous days.
I finished it.
A friend of mine, I was actually at his house, and he's like, yeah, I was in COVID, and I binged One Piece. I'm like, how far did you get? About a quarter of the way through.
I mean, yeah.
I remember I watched all the anime, and they also got to Zoe, and I was like, you know what? Fuck that. This is too much for me. I cannot.
Yeah, One Piece is one of those, just either pick the anime or pick the manga. You can't keep running both of those.
Like, I'm sure the anime has very good representation and whatnot, but I'm just like, I fucking can't for the life of me.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm just sitting here like, I remember watching and reading up to Dressrosa and then reading sporadically and up to Wano, and I'm just like, yep, I fell off again. Help me, friends.
I mean, Wano wasn't that bad, having just finished it. Though Dressrosa is very much the marathon, where it's just like, okay, how long till we get to the fights? How long till we get to the fights? How many fights do we have? Oh.
Oh god, yeah, that was a marathon. It's just like it literally went exploration to tournament to exposition to more fights. I'm like, holy crap.
I went to watch Dressrosa with my friend, and then I went to watch Dressrosa. And then I didn't watch anime for like a year, came back and they were still in Dressrosa, and the first thing I said was, "Are we still fucking here? Are we still in fucking Dressrosa? Jesus Christ."
It's just like that scene of Berserk. It's just like, are they still on the boat?
Yes, Billy.
Well, I explained it for my friend. I can't remember who it was, but they were asking me what was the deal because a bunch of people didn't like Dressrosa. I was like, it's Alabasta, but just as long without any of the desert. Think about that. Because it's basically the exact same arc down to all of the villains being shittier copies of Baroque's Works members.
God damn it, you're right. Senor Pink was basically a rip-off version of Bonkley.
Yep. But I'm gonna switch over to the live screen now that we got people filtering in.
Yep. So, hopefully it won't be too long before Draco joins us, but...
Luckily, we're just staring at two
At any
dwarves.
rate.
It's fine. At least I think they're dwarves.
And he said, speaking of that, he just said a few minutes.
Lord.
Alright. Well...
I liked the drawing that you made up. Holy shit, Caitlin.
No, thank you.
It's like we never even lost Landfill.
Now I'm just imagining Rue in a cowboy hat.
And I can't wait for this to come up in another game I play. She's just like, I played D&D before. Have you? Yes.
No, she ain't Wick 2. She's Winnie 1.0.
Yeah.
Now with pop-up blocker.
So I was right. Haha, I did get it.
You did get it.
I think D&D Abel would be a very nervous-looking rogue.
Yep. Rogue or monk, take your pick.
I've been wanting to play an actual druid for a while, and I actually had her art, so I was like, yeah, okay, I'll just change her hairdo. It'll be fine.
Just, there you go.
Perfect. It's just like, just fixing a little bit of the dry clay sculpt. It's just like, oh, just a little bit here. Ta-da! Completely original character. Do that, Steve.
Well,
Completely original.
well, no, it's just there's no pink
No
dye
one
in
will.
Chult.
No one will ever know.
But Caitlin, I
You
know
didn't
who that
know.
Okay.
I completely fooled you.
All right. Yep. No, pulled one over on me.
Yep, that's right.
Truth be told, I'm pretty sure there's zero crossover between this audience and anything on Probate's channel. So, yeah, no one would
Probably
ever
not.
know.
No one will ever know.
We'll ever know.
On the hand her, dad backslide.
Oh.
And just like that, I'll see myself out. Okay, get out of here.
I just want to go ahead and just like I always thought it'd be so funny during that cartoon. One of them was like her hand backslide Dan. Just completely fuck up the line.
I still to this day love the backstory for that cartoon in particular. They made it on a bet to see like what they could get away with the WWE censors.
Oh, it's so good.
Like the reason it's so freaking out there is because they're like, okay, what can we keep? We're just gonna keep putting in random shit and see what they give any notes for, and nothing ever came. They had a short, the full length, and they're like, okay, print it.
Nobody humped.
Also, hello, Draco.
Yo, what's up, Drake?
Oh, it is me. I have arrived.
Huzzah! And now we can begin in earnest.
How you doing, buddy?
Exhausted from work, but apart from that, I'm doing all right.
Well, hot
That's
damn.
good.
All right. With
Busy
that,
night.
busy night. Well, I think we'll go ahead and get ready to just ramble on in for the session. Welcome one and all to session 35 of Chult of Personality. We gather here once more to mourn the events of last session. The expeditionaries continued their exploration in the Tomb of the Nine Gods to free the titular spirits and exact their revenge upon the Lick of Sirak. They encountered a dwarven figure that vanished below them, and a room that reeked of wine with magical sunlight basking a coffin in the middle. However, it was in fact a trap, though Zeno, the half-elf sorcerer, Elise, the wood-elf ranger fighter, and Dan, the half-elf witch, managed to escape before drowning in their sorrows. They also found a man in an upwards curving hallway, who was equal part goat as well. They took his magic staff and a journal upon him. Meanwhile, the remainder of the party found a bearded devil's face in the floor with magical darkness in its mouth. Wick, the squashly cleric, disturbed a group of bats inside it, and Tyrabane the Minotaur paladin scared them away. Wick dove inside the mouth of the devil, plummeting down into a dire situation. A large room with floor-tiled panels, 4 sphinx statues, one in each corner, and a stone sarcophagus and a funeral barge, which happened to bear the spirit of Aijin the Almirage, and the remains of a dwarven man at the room's entrance. Tyrant Bane and Enoch, the human warlock, descended by rope to aid their friend. However, danger was afoot, as first Tyrant Bane stepped on the wrong tile, summoning the first swarm of locusts from the Sphinx's mouths, which feverishly ate the party. Wick, in a brave, albeit slightly foolish attempt to try and step on the correct tiles, first, second, and third steps were successful. However, on the 4th step, tragically, the locusts returned and ate the valiant squashling until there was nothing left of him. Downfallen, Tyrant Bane retrieved Wick's effects, and he and Enoch climbed back up the rope to give the heartbreaking news of Wick's death to their remaining companions. The mournful feeling of dread hangs in the air as the expeditionaries return to the nearby tomb of Obalaka to rest. The party shared a dream in a darkened void, which bore a vision of Wick, giving him a heartfelt opportunity to say goodbye to his friends. The next day, Zeno awoke to discover that his newly acquired staff of striking was cursed, giving him brown fur. And Orvex discovered a secret door to a room with a magnetic statue, which gave our metallic-bearing ally some trouble, and a fountain with transmutation magic, and more importantly, a statue of a woman. Upon further inspection of the statue, it turned out to be an actual human, a druid who was also trapped within the Tomb of the Nine Gods, named Rue. As they resolved to help Rue, the human druid, and went to leave the magnetic room once more, the party heard a click behind them. 2 dwarven forms with bearded devil masks bearing a large crystal pane stepped into the room behind them. Who are these dwarven figures? What else lies in wait with the cursed staff that Zeno bears? And will our expeditionaries avenge the loss of Wick and help Rue on her quest for vengeance and memory? Let's find out as we continue with Chult of Personality. Go ahead and bring you guys back up over here. As the 2 dwarven figures, go to set down the pane. Everybody that's in that hallway notices the first thing that, for the party, let's see. Rue, you could go ahead and drop your new token right next to Enoch while I get that set up.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Hibbushki.
But yeah,
By the way, because where Zeno is, at least you occasionally see Zeno's or pads or a coat pocket getting pulled back still because of the freaking magnet.
Actually, that's what I was just about to explain to you guys. As you heard a click, and at least I'll say with your passive perception, you swore you heard some chanting coming from further down the hallway to the left, from actually where these figures came from, and you notice that these two dwarves have battle axes as well as heavy crossbows on them. And they're not being drawn towards the statue.
Make a mental note of that for later.
And as the two figures gingerly set down the pain, they draw their battle axes towards you, and I'm going to need to ask everyone to roll initiative.
Boy.
Smokely dokely, neighborina.
Oh yeah, I should probably open my character sheet. Whoops.
Hey,
You know what? I just realized the staff I have gives me a +3 to attack. I need to actually post that on my sheets.
Well, that wouldn't take
21.
too long at all.
Wait, I could actually. It's actually a +3.
Me and Enoch holding up the rear.
Alright, so the dwarves rolled a 10. And then there's something else I gotta roll for. I gotta go to find him. There we go.
Oh, did they not have staff +3?
Actually, just 1 second.
Yeah, there's quarterstaff +3 in the compendium.
Yeah, I was gonna say like until I'll just put it as the quarterstaff then.
Oh, come on. Trying to get the things online. There we go. Actually, they have a +2, so they technically rolled a 12. And then there's something else, though. That rolled a 9.
19 for my initiative, by the way.
Right. Then I gotta roll for Orvex. And for Kawasha. Orvex. Roll the 12. Kawasha, roll the soft 20. Alright, so Orvex with the 12. Not a 123, that would be absolutely broken. And Kawasha with the soft 20. Okay. First up is Rue.
Great. Okay. Well, That's 30. Okay. So obviously I'm around the corner. I hear nonsense going on, right?
Yeah, you do hear some noises coming from the room behind you guys. It doesn't sound like it's coming from your allies.
Alright. Well, in that case, I'm going to run on over, and I'm going to use a key point to use Step of the Wind to get over here as a bonus action.
Ah.
Yick! Actually, I'll move over one just so my companions can also get on through. And then, as a bonus action, for the time being, I'm going to cast Bark Skin on myself.
Alright. Alright. So for Bark Skin, that. Gotcha. And I'll say, as you're standing right there, you can see there's one more figure. Let me go ahead and get him on over to the right location. From where you're standing, you barely manage to see a large, brutish figure with blood-soaked armor and chains about him and a massive bucket helm.
Ah, good. Methinks that's all I can do for the time
All right.
being.
Next up will be Elise.
Sorry. Alright, well. Time to do what I do best. Bonus action, Hunter's Mark. We're gonna do it on this guy straight ahead in front of me.
Okay.
And pulling out the longbow.
All right.
28 first shot.
Hits.
And it's gonna be 8 piercing plus the Hunter's Mark damage is 5.
All right.
And second shot,
Mm-hmm.
26.
That hits.
And now I have all the damage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Still
It's
8.
still
8
damage.
total.
It's still damage.
Still 8 total.
All right. As you let your arrows fly and they go to hit this dwarven man, he doesn't even flinch when they hit him, and it seems like your arrows weren't as effective as you thought they would be.
Alright. That's turn.
All right. Next up will be. Hold on, I gotta find the right screen. Where's the turn order? There it is. Next up will be Kawasha. Oh, great. We've got more. More of those figures. And he will 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. As Brew, you also see him start to cast Bark Skin upon himself. And that will be it for Croatia. Next up is Zeno.
Just realized. Can you send me the link to what the staff does?
Ah, sure. Let me see if I can find that here.
Now, like all this, I was like, it's a +3 to attack on both sides, right?
Yep. Staff of Striking. Let me go ahead and pull up your character sheet here, and I can just drop and drag it for you.
Perfect. Let's see. And that, while we're doing that, aim for the middle guy. Go for a shatter.
There you are. Should be dropped in your. There.
That's a 16 for the thing.
All right, null search detected.
And a boom.
That's a lot of damage.
There you go. There you go, Elise. I took care of the damage you could get last time.
All right, so that's gonna be some con saves, and just because I wasn't lucky while I was getting that stuff, could you show me where you centered that again?
Right there.
All right, so right on the corner where the hallway is.
Yep. So I can hit all 3 of these guys, even though we don't see the other one.
All right.
I have a random question. The pane that they place down is in that area too, right? So it gets a bit of that crack?
Oh yeah. Well, let's. Oh yeah, that starts to crack as well.
Think about that.
Let's see. So that's a save.
In case they're wondering why it broke in the first place.
Save. That's a failure. The bucket helm man.
Just the style on him. Break the pane.
Yeah, just
The answer may surprise you.
Alright, so he's safe for half. That's 11.
Fuck your pane of glass.
He's safe for half, so that's 11. Bucket Helm Man takes the full damage.
Would it hit all four of them? Cause even though I didn't aim for, I didn't see the fourth one.
Yep. Yeah, it's the 10-foot radius, so it extends into that hallway. You don't see him, but yeah, above gate there is one other man in here. Alright, so that's another 22 for that.
Now, why did I think those were leftover tokens?
Alright, anything else then, Zeno?
No, that's it.
Alright, next up is Yuki.
She can't really get into the swing of things, so she's just gonna run right on up and hold her action for anything to come near her. But she will bark.
Alright, so she's gonna give the help action for the first thing that comes in range?
Sure.
Okay. Tyrant Bane, you're up.
You're still on in that area, right?
I'm sorry?
The magnets are still on in this area, right?
Oddly enough, as you're looking at the dwarven figures, do you see that they're, bearing heavy crossbows and battle axes, and nothing's happening?
Alright. Worst case scenario, I get pulled to the magnet, and that guy's coming with me. Alright. Tyrant Bane's gonna let out a mighty bellow, which means he's gonna go ahead and do the dash.
Alright.
10, 20. How you doing, Orvex?
He kind of sheepishly just leans towards the wall to allow you to pass.
30. How you doing, Archer Graven? 40.
And
How
as
you
you
doing?
step
How you doing,
as you
Yuki?
step foot into the room here, you do not feel the pull of the magnet from the statue.
Only gonna spur his hooves more. Drive-by petting. 50. 60.
Alright. Do I sense a bonus action charge coming your direction?
Yes!
Let's do it.
Been too long since I've given someone the horns. That's a 22 on the horns.
That'll hit.
That is a 6 piercing.
Alright. 6 piercing, and as
And
you're... Oh.
And with him screaming, "Unk's light!" he's gonna go ahead and swing with the flame tongue sword.
Well, you used your action to dash, so it was
Oh, I
only a
used my
bonus
action to dash? Oh, cool. I can
Yeah.
smite off my horns, right?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay.
And these are technically undead, so you get the additional D8.
I get to use that.
Alright, so this is 2d8 for first level spell, so it's 4d8, so it's 5d8. Oh boy, what joy will we have! Yo, take 19.
Ooh.
Take an additional 19, so it's all radiant damage. So 25 points of radiant damage. As you go to lower your horns and you rank it up, you just see the light shine. The figure just drops dead.
Again.
Again, yes.
I've laid him
And
to
as-
rest.
And as you look down the hallway and try to investigate further, you see there is yet another one of these dwarves that is just filing in line with his battle axe and crossbow already.
He's gonna smash his sword up against his shield and yell, "Break upon me!" And that's gonna be the end of my turn.
Also,
All
Dan,
right.
repairing this paint is totally a union job. Just look at how many people they're bringing in for it.
Yeah, it is.
Do they all have matching suits with like numbers?
Orvex is gonna move right there.
Dungeoneering local 27.
I know they were about to hit their lunch break, but we had to go and ruin that pain.
Uh-huh. Alright, Orvex, that's gonna be a hit, so you get sneak attack as well because Tyrant Bane's in range.
The buckethead guy longingly looks at his Jersey Mikes and sighs as he puts it in the fridge and picks up his axe.
Well, no, he just stuffs it in that corner in the wall where we found Rue.
That's where they hit the fridge.
That was my hole. It was made for me.
Alright. Well, that's Orvex's turn. Next up is the Dwarven figures. As this one's going to move 5, 10, 15, 20. He's actually going to saunter over to here, Tyrant Bane. And this one's going to move 5, 10, 15, 25 to get to there.
Alright.
5, 10, 15, 20. Actually, this one will risk the attack of opportunity to take a 5-foot step around this way.
Alright. So do I get to slap him?
Indeed, you may have rolled a hit.
It's a 22.
That will hit. So
That's
for 15 points of damage.
a mighty crack of flame.
Alright, so come on.
Inferno takes no prisoners.
Alright, so for these dwarves that are standing around you, each of them are going to make one battle axe attack, as well as try to reach out and touch you. So for the battle axe attacks, I'll roll them all at once.
Alright. 20 is going to be your number to hit right now, boss.
20, okay, that's how much is there?
Reach out,
That's a plus
touch me.
4. I have a 21 and 22 for 2 of them, which will hit.
Alright.
So for that, that's gonna be. You take a total of 12 points of slashing damage from those 2 attacks.
Okay.
And for the ones that are gonna reach out and touch you, you see this necromantic energy just dancing off their hands as they try to reach out and grab you. The first one is cocked, it landed on the dice. Missed with a nat 1. The second one.
His arm just falls off. Just.
And the third one. They all missed with the touch attacks, so you are not grabbed by these ghoulies.
No bad touch.
Fantastic. They don't know what they're in for.
Alright. Next up is the large bucket helm creature.
I'm going to bellow back. It's like two Clash of Titans in here.
Alright, so he just raises his large gauntleted fist. He's gonna make 2 slam attacks against you.
Okay.
The first one's an 18, which misses. The second is a soft 20.
Meat beats, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So you take 14 points of bludgeoning damage as he raises one fist right down on top of your, or just off the side of your head.
Okay.
And that's it for his turn. Next up is Dan.
Alright, so just point of reference. How high is the ceilings in the hallway and then, like, to the opening here?
It is 8 foot high in the ceiling, and in that room is... I have to double check. But yeah, for sure, 8 foot in the hallway, and let's general features. Hallways, general features. 12 foot high in the magnet room.
Okay. I can't go up, but I will get on the broom and just fly up to here for now. And Dan's gonna look at Tyrant Bane. Tyrant Bane, yay or nay to a moonbeam?
Tyrant Bane will be Punch will look at you and go, exfoliate me!
Dan will nod, hold up his spell focus, and Trubum Lune!
All right, here come the con saves.
By the way, I like to think that Tyrant Bane versus the big guy is basically the Hound versus the Mountain.
Yep, you're not wrong.
All right, con
Yeah.
save again?
Yep. Let's see. So
Don't care. I think I take half on the pass, so.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's a +3 for the con save, which means that. Let's see, DC 15. Okay, so that's gonna be 2 passes from the dwarves. One of the dwarves fails, and the helmed individual passes. So that will be 14 points on 2 of the dwarves, and then 7 on the other 2.
Okay. Then, which dwarves failed?
The 2 on to the north and east, or to the north and east.
Okay. This one is now glowing dark fire as I use my bonus action. Let me find. Here it is. Ignis Maleficia! Dark blue fire, and now any attacks on that one have advantage.
Alright.
Or is it the
Let me go
next
get the
one?
marker for
Oh, I'm
him.
sorry. The next attack made against it has advantage.
There we go. That's how he's glowing. That much. Alright. Anything else, Dan?
Nope, I believe that is all for me.
Alright, Enoch.
Okay, Enoch's just gonna tiredly walk up, barely able to see what's going on. Now that he can't.
You do-
What?
Oh, I was just gonna say, as you're walking up, you do see the light from a moonbeam being cast in the room.
Enoch just sighs, places his hand on the wall, and says Vorn Jr. as you see a bunch of nanites swarm around that big pile of rust and then coalesce right here as I cast Summon Construct.
Ah.
And I choose
was a
mighty warrior.
I choose Metal.
Okay.
And he'll go immediately after my turn.
Alright.
Also, sorry, Vaughn, I had to do that.
Let's see. I have to find the token. Ah! As I went to type in the thing I was searching for, I typed in token by mistake. No, it's not an iron token.
But yeah, that'll end my turn, and then I'll just move over to the Construct's turn.
Where did I leave that token? You know what? I'm going to... yeah, well, you're going to... Well, I'm going to go look for that token. What does the...
He's going to use his
what does
2
Vaughn
attacks,
Jr. do? Alright.
On the big armored guy. So just a sec.
Alright.
So first attack. Oh, only a 10.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that will miss.
Alright, try again.
There it is.
23.
That will hit.
Now let me just double check the damage. This is why I keep a piece of paper with all of this guy's stats around. Ah, yes.
There's the token right here.
So he takes 11 points of bludgeoning damage as this thing just pounds into him.
Alright.
And now let me just double check one thing. Okay, yeah, no, nothing else happens until next turn. And sorry, Tyrant Bane, you're also slightly in a splash zone.
I am used to it.
All right. Just for brevity, what was the damage type again against him?
11 bludgeoning. It doesn't say if it's specifically magical or not, but he is a spell.
Well,
creature.
as he goes to punch him, this figure doesn't even flinch. It had no effect on him.
Well, that ends its turn.
Yep. Rue, it's back to the top of the turn order.
Okay. You see her touch one of the paw print tattoos along her arm, and the paw print looks like that of a bear, and then her skin begins to glow and grow fur, and she turns into a brown bear.
Okay.
Yeah. And so...
A bar.
She'll go burr. And she's going to run over here, and the brown bear has multi-attack, so she is going to hecking bite this one. So that is going to be a +5 to hit. Do. 20 plus 5. Did that roll? Yeah, 5.
5 is not.
Sorry, that was a 10.
Wait, do you get a... Vorn Jr. didn't attack the dwarf there, right? So you'd still get advantage.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I have advantage on that. Okay, yeah.
Give another swing.
14?
14. Does hit.
Hot diggity. So that is going to be a 1d8 plus 4.
And another blast of a spice weasel.
1d8 plus 4 for 10 damage.
And as you just let loose upon this dwarf, it just groans in pain as it collapses to the floor.
Cute. Does she dare? She bear. Okay, she'll do it. And then with her paws, that is also going to be a +5 to hit. So roll. 19 to hit.
That will hit.
The burr.
The burr. And that is going to be 2d6 plus 4. For 11 slashing damage.
Alright, for 11.
I don't know if it matters, but if it does, her paws are considered magical.
That is definitely good to know. Yep. Still barely standing, but it took a lot of damage.
Did I roll for the moonbeam? Because
Yeah.
2 people walked through? Okie doke. It's a 14 if you fail your con save.
Con save.
Do you want me to make another con save? Oh wait, no, I already paid my dues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
not
you
until
got.
your next turn.
Oh, you got additions because you're right next to me, Caitlin. Well, let me find
how
out
much was the
that is
addition?
due.
That's what we'll find out right now.
Okay.
Alright, hold on. Friendly creatures within 10 feet of me get a saving throw equal to my charisma modifier. The charisma modifier is 3.
And it helps out none of you! I'm sorry!
I think that's a 12. Does that count?
It's higher than 9, so I'm gonna say it did on a mathematical sense.
Can you add 2 more points? Just 2 more. No, wait. 3 more points.
Maybe I
Good.
can cast something as a reaction?
Alright, so
Give me a
it's-
minute. No, I can't. Alright.
Okay, so it's 14. So that.
Now,
What are you saying?
I was going to ask, does this count as the construct taking a hit, Milla?
It would.
Okay. Well,
Also-
then, all creatures within 10 feet of it have to make a... Let's see here. Just a sec.
Also, if I recall, isn't there a thing about shapeshifters as they enter the moonbeam?
Oh
Specifically
yeah.
when it comes to Trace of Druids.
Let me look on through. Ghostly flame, cause searing pain. Da, 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 da. If it fails, here we go. A shape changer makes its saving throw with disadvantage. If it fails, it also instantly reverts to its original form. It
Ah.
can't assume a different form until it leaves the spell's light.
Well, that sucks.
Does a druid count as a shape changer? I mean, I guess wild shape does change its shape, but
Shape in the
Unfortunately,
name.
I'm gonna have to say it does. I'm sorry, Caitlin.
Dang it. Okay, well, I'll take away those points and I'll just, yeah, 45. There
Also,
you go.
I'll be nice and say that you don't take any damage as a result of. Rue does not take the damage while in her human form. The bear damage will take the damage from there. So, I'll at least grant you that.
Oh, okay.
and now Tyrant Bane and Buckethead also take this because you said the Moonbane qualifies as a hit. So that's 6 fire damage to everything within 5 feet of the construct.
oh, 5 feet.
Alright.
All right. So, as the fire emanates from the construct, you see the Buckethead figure go. It does not like the fire.
Didn't think fair. And
No
to,
Buckethead, fire good.
to end my turn, Rue's gonna scramble back out. She's going to the attack of opportunity.
Alright, yep, that dwarf's gonna swing its battle axe at you.
And actually, I think I need to make one more con save for Bark Skin. Oh, 10, so that makes it cool.
Alright, so let's see. Right, I gotta open up their thing again because I refreshed the page. Dang it. Alright. Let's see, that's how much? That's a 16 to hit.
Meets.
Alright, so because he is two-handed with his battle axe, I rolled the wrong die. You take 7 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Alright, anything else?
That's it for her turn.
Alright, Elise.
Okay, I'm gonna pop over here. We're gonna bonus action move Hunter's Mark to... which one looks the worst off?
The one that took a swing at a Rue.
This guy right here? Okay,
Yep.
yeah, I'm moving it over to him.
Alright.
Shit. I can probably hit him from here.
Yep.
I just don't want Rue to be directly in the line of fire. But
Just aim over. Just aim over.
yeah.
Find like a high rock.
Or just curve
And
the arrow. It's fine.
21.
21 does hit.
21.
11 plus class assistance take damage, and hunters, so there's 16.
16. Yep, you managed to shoot this dwarf right where the open devil mask is, and it drops to the floor dead.
Alright.
Again.
And then I'll aim for the one directly behind him.
Alright.
Shot number 2 is 16.
That hits.
11 piercing, just straight damage, so 11.
Alright, so for 11. Again, as your arrow finds purchase in this, you don't think the shot was as effective as you thought it could have been.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and take a 5-foot step back. Actually, I'll just get right back behind Yuki and then call turn.
Alright, next up is Kawasha. He's seeing how the fire kind of flickered off from Vorn Jr. and Mr. Buckethead didn't really enjoy that. He's going to produce flame and huck a mote of fire at it.
Fire
And
good.
actually hit. Or fire. Alright. Alright. Then it is. Yeah, that's it for Croatia. Zeno, it's your turn again.
Alright, so refresh my memory, 'cause I can never remember this. How many shots does Chaos Bolt have?
How many
It's-
shots?
Yeah, it's 2, right?
No, it's 2 damage dice that decide the damage type.
Right, okay. I was like,
Yeah, 2 d8s and 1 d6. So you roll all of those for the damage types. You use the d8s to determine what type of damage it is when you roll it.
well,
you
Zeno
can choose
sees this
from
guy still alive, and he can't really do any of his fun stuff right now because everyone else is around. So,
All right. So if you're casting Chaos Bolt, roll for your Wild Magic Surge.
it's 12. And there's the attack with 11.
And 11's gonna miss.
Dang. Well, I remember I have +3, so it's a 14 then.
Where do you get the plus with your phone?
From the staff, right?
That's just for the staff.
Oh,
That's just for
oh,
staff
that's
attacks. Yeah. So an 11 will
That's
still.
what I mean. I
miss.
misunderstood.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else for your turn, Zeno?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Next up is Yuki.
All right. Let's see. Can't really get into the fray with the moonbeam there. I think she's just gonna move up a little bit and just bark at this guy over here. Can't really help, but she barking.
All right. Tyrant Bane, I need you to make a con save for standing in the moonbeam.
Okay.
And Dan, roll damage.
Will do.
Oh, 12.
That's 9 damage.
Poggers. All right.
All right, you've got one dwarf next to you still standing, and as well as Mr. Buckethelm.
Bucket guy's gonna go. All right. Swing one with a flame tongue.
All right.
That is a 20.
It does hit.
That is 15.
15 points of magical slashing and fire damage. And that was your first attack.
Not all. Is he stinky?
He's
he undead?
definitely he's definitely smells stinky. There's like bits of gore and blood drenched around his armor, and yeah, he definitely reeks of undead.
Cool. Smite. Here's your change. 27.
Okay. 27 points. Alright, on top of that.
Now the second attack.
I want this man dead. I want his family dead.
14.
That will miss.
All right. Let's see.
All
What
right.
else can I do? Hammering horns. Can I shove him into the wall? Just jack him up against the wall so I can go ahead and just.
I'll allow you a strength check to grapple him into the wall.
All right, with the horns, Vashov. Strength check.
All right.
All right, so 21.
He rolled an 8, so yeah, you managed to pin him against the wall with your horns. Alright.
We're gonna fry together, buddy.
Alright. Next up is Horpex. And reloading his crossbow, he's gonna shoot at the dwarf that's behind you, Tyrant Bane. That's a hit, Adelaide. Decent roll. So that's 12 for half to 6.
But you should get sneak
That-
attack.
Yep, that's with the sneak attack.
Oh. Well, at least you're trying, buddy.
Alright. Next up is the Tomb Dwarf's turn. He needs to make his con save for the Moonbeam. Roll damage, Dan.
That'd be 13 if he fails.
Well, he passed, so he only takes 6. Still barely standing. Ah, you damn bastards! Ah, he's going to reach out and attempt to touch Tyrant Bane. But miss again. Ah, damn it! And he's going to attack with the battle axe. What's their plus to hit? And he just barely misses with a 19 as he goes to swing and you just barely feel the whiff of the axe. And he's going to take a 10-foot step back as he's... Gonna step back and reel. And next up is Mr. Buckethelm as he needs to roll something else.
11 on a
Okay.
fail.
Alright, and con save. He passes, so he only takes 5. And he's gonna take both of his arms and just go to slam down on top of you, Tyrant Bane.
Going for that double axe handle.
Yep. That's
Heavyweight champion Tyrant Bane versus the Bucket Man. By
Well,
God!
one with a 26 hits, and the other one misses.
Alright, so what am I getting?
So that's 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
Alright. Somebody wouldn't mind just patching up the cow.
Alright. Next up is Dan.
Well, I'm happy where the moonbeam is. Let's see. Can't Toll the Dead's in action. I'm gonna Toll the Dead on that one back there.
Okie dokie.
So big old clock tower bong.
That's a failure.
He takes 10 necrotic damage. Probably not a lot though, because I'm dead. But we'll see.
Oh, it is 2d12, so.
As your Toll the Dead rings out, didn't seem like that was as effective as it could have been either, but he is barely hanging on.
Go back to death!
Alright.
Next
Next
to
up
the
is
archer.
Enoch.
Just get back in your grave, you idiot!
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally Thriller Bark, just Luffy shoving the zombie back into the grave. No. Get back in there.
Enoch just strolls in, looks at all the chaos, sighs, and he starts blasting.
Alright, where's your first Eldritch Blast going?
At that guy over there for 16. Just like him.
For the dwarf, that hits.
Alright. For 1. Force damage.
As your Eldritch Blast just goes and nicks him in the face, he's just like, that's. He thinks about it for a second, but then he falls over. He had exactly 1 health left.
Amazing.
Well then, next shot goes off on Buckethead, so 16 again.
That will miss, as it just bounces off his helmet and he is still standing.
Well, then I end my turn, and now it's time for Vorn Jr.
Alright, what's VJ doing?
He's going to do the only thing he can do, which is slam attack.
Alright.
Come on and slam.
I was thinking that too.
So you want to just copy this for ease? Copy. There we go. That's an at 20.
Ooh.
Hey.
Oh. Alright, what's the damage?
Right, that's... do 2, 8, plus 8. So that's 17 bludgeoning.
Even in spite of the fact that he just clocks this man with the bucket helm, you see the helmet just do a straight 90-degree turn, and you hear a crack, but the helmet straights up and it stares at him, and it had no effect on him.
Well, second verse, same as the first, because he doesn't have a lot of actions. That's a 23.
That will hit.
For number 14.
Alright, and VJ just goes and punches him right in the gut. He just manages to stand firm as, again, normal attacks are having no effect on him.
Also, I think he has to technically make a save against Moonbeam.
Yep, I'll roll that damage. And if he
that's right.
fails,
Alright. Of course, if he does take damage, this guy's going to get more fire anyway, but also Tyrant Bang. Oh, 15,
He just
so
goes
he takes
to
half.
slump.
there you go.
But-
Only
So,
5.
he slumps to the floor, and Tyrant Bane, you feel your horns get a lot heavier as you feel this bucket helm man just slump onto the ground.
I'm just gonna pull my horns out.
Oh,
And thus ends combat.
I'll say love Moonbeam.
I feel like Enoch would just start putting you out. You okay there, big guy?
He is covered in gore. He's gonna slap himself, and I'm gonna use my whole pull. I'm back up to 50. Thank God. Thank you, Cow Jesus. All right, we love you. We love you, Cow Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm fine. Harrowing as it was.
Well, I think we finally figured out what it was Wick saw moving around at the bottom floors.
These things won't be able to besmirch their name anymore. That was exhausting. When did the magnet stop working?
I guess they turned it off.
You can just turn off forces of nature like that?
I mean, I imagine there's like some sort of trigger, or maybe like inside the statues where the magnet is and it just got lowered or something. I'd have to look at it to be certain.
Oh, I see.
Perhaps even a magical enchantment.
Or that.
Well, while everyone's thinking about that, Enoch will kind of walk over to one of these dead dwarves and pick the mask off their face. Well,
Okay.
we were supposed to be looking for masks, so he just holds it up and kind of waves it at everyone.
Alright.
If these guys
So
are
you
just
have
kinda,
all the masks.
yeah, if these guys are just kind of walking through secret passages, maybe these are part of it.
Maybe.
Orphex and Kawasha just shrug. Well, but the ones that were in the room, they had those. What were they made of? Like paper?
As strange as it is, yes.
You are collecting masks.
Yes.
Why?
Alright, so
There was a riddle somewhere mentioned a mask.
And
Donning
it
a
only-
mask.
And it only seemed natural.
This place is full of cryptic warnings that we're just trying to make heads or tail of.
Very well. Fair enough.
well, just a sec. Enoch will do. Well, since you wanted me to check all that stuff, Enoch will just walk in here and throw on his Eldritch Sight. Do I see anything special about the fountain?
Yeah, you do see transmutation magic coming off of the fountain.
Yeah, no, that whole fountain is reeking of that transmutation magic.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it looks like you probably got enough transmutation in your life going on.
Well,
You know,
I did.
it's actually not that.
You're,
dear.
as you're kind of looking at Zeno, you kind of notice that right at the front of his forehead, it looks like there are two big goose eggs that are forming on his right at the top of his forehead.
I wonder what kind of horns you'll have, brother.
I think it's fairly obvious by now I'm turning into a goat. You know, out of everything that's happened to me, this isn't the weirdest thing.
You see Rue shrug. Goats aren't so bad.
No, they're lovely creatures.
It is
We used
true.
to keep some when I were in my village as a kid.
Hey,
I mean, there
Miller.
are worse things.
Yeah, Chaco?
Given that they're part Fae, how much would I know about satyrs?
I suppose you could make a history check.
See if this is this could potentially have anything to do with satyr magic or anything like that. Nope, 5.
You've heard of satyrs, but you're not sure. Like, not much detail. That you heard the name of it, but you actually haven't seen one, and you don't know that much about them.
Yeah. Kind of look at Zeno for a second, blink. Feel like I've seen this before.
That said, if you do turn into a goat, be mindful of the headbutts. It'll bring about a frightful headache later.
I can imagine we had to put cloth over the baby ones when I was a kid because they kept getting into a fight with each other. That's a real thing that people do, or for actual or baby goats. By the way, look it up; it's cute.
Oh, that's awesome.
They put they either put cloth or pool noodles.
I think I've seen the pool noodles, actually.
That's absolutely
They
adorable.
look adorable as hell.
As let's see. I have to double check something else too.
Also, you guys be careful. Don't hit Vorn Jr. His core's a little unstable. He points to the giant, like, red fiery orb in its center.
So, Enoch, as you're making your way out of the room, you now notice that coming from the statue that's at the end,
Mm-hmm.
you're detecting a faint trace of abjuration magic coming from it,
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
which
That's
you
like-
didn't see that before.
Well, yeah, Enoch didn't come anywhere near this thing before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, no, that statue's magical as hell. It's glowing with the protecty go boom magic.
Tech go boom magic.
Yeah, typically the magic we find on traps.
Oh, that.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me what type of magic it is, it just glows a color, and I'm just having to learn which colors do what.
Oh.
Actually, let me rephrase that, Enoch. You detect a faint trace of... Oh, what did it say it was? It said it should be... Initially you detect a faint trace of transmutation magic, but right now, more strongly, you detect a strong presence of abjuration magic coming from it.
There's also a bit of the same magic that's on the water over there, transmutation, so I think that might explain the rust. As he gestures to all of it, I think it just pulls you in, and then anything you're wearing, it turns to dust. So I'm gonna start walking far away from it before it turns back on.
Probably for the best.
That's probably for the best.
Real quick, I do want to see if I can search Buckethead Boy for anything useful.
On him, not really anything of use on him. Like I said, he's got these metal, this what looks like armor is just pieces of metal that are literally like riveted and stapled into his flesh, as well as the various chains that are draped across it. And yeah, it looks like the bucket helm itself is also riveted to the head.
Okay. Yeah. If there's nothing of use, she'll continue to walk out with the rest of everybody.
How about any of these guys? I'll just quickly search their pockets.
They, beside the masks, they all have battle axes and heavy crossbows, and among them, 17 heavy crossbow bolts.
Yeah, okay, that I don't really need.
I mean, at that point, I just hand those to Orvex.
Well, I suppose at a pinch I could use them. He'll take the crossbow bolts. Alright, so where do you guys want to go from here?
That is the question, Mega Man.
Hot dog.
Do you want to go back down the level, or do you want to go down those other two hallways that you've seen on this level?
I'm all for exploring the rest of this floor at least. Because right now, if we clear it out, we can always make our way back up here to rest.
Yeah, I believe that's probably for the best.
Alright. So, as you make your way across the balcony, over towards that 10-foot hallway, go ahead and move your tokens over towards it, and I'll reveal some more of the area of it.
Everyone zoom zoom.
Alright.
Oh, yeah.
Giant... Oh.
I should
I'm
just
sorry,
also
Bud.
preface Vorn Jr.'s with us for an hour.
Alright.
He
Let me
just
just
looks
go
at you
grab
and
the
goes,
token.
"I'm your problem."
Stomp. Just grab every piece of that. And let me go ahead and describe this as you guys are all coming over this way. A giant stone skull crusted with moss juts out from the end of the passageway. A flame flickers within each of its eye sockets, and a view into a chamber beyond can be seen through its open jaws.
Well, after what happened last time, I am immediately weary of this.
You could have VJ walk through. See what happens.
I mean, sure, though he's pretty banged up. Yeah, if you want to send him over there and see if he triggers anything.
Alright. If you guys want to go ahead and place your tokens right around here. And let's see. And I'll kind of give this as you guys can also see into the room beyond. Let me go ahead and reveal more of this. Skulls crusted with dried mud glow from the niches cut into the walls of this tomb. A stone sarcophagus stands at the center of the chamber. Its lid adorned with a coiled serpent carved in relief. Behind the sarcophagus, resting atop a marble pedestal, is an ornate crystal box with a small humanoid skull floating inside it. And also standing next to the sarcophagus, you all recognize that skeleton that you saw last session, with the large, triangular-shaped piece of metal riveted to its skull. It's currently standing inside it, on the floor.
I'm sure that's fine.
Oh God. Again, you guys start seeing Zeno start shaking again.
All right. Just out of curiosity, what size is the soul golem?
He is a medium.
All right. So do you command him to move in?
Sure.
All right. As you look down and you see Varn Jr. nod in acknowledgement and go to crawl inside the mouth of this creature. The first thing you notice is that there are two torches that are one inside each of the eyes of this giant skull. One of those torches goes out as it crawls through. And the second thing you see is that the skeleton is going to run away from Vorn Jr.
It'd be a bad day to be a fire. No, it would be a great day to be a fire genasi in here. You're like, hey,
All right, so what do you guys do?
Well, all right. So skeleton's afraid of us. It seems like.
Looks like the
You know he's
doorway is
beautiful.
winking at us.
I noticed one of the torches went out. Maybe there's a limit to how many people can pass through.
Well-
Oops, sorry.
I was just gonna say, we've already had at least one of the tombs locked off to us, and this is another one. So we want to be careful, especially if we're gonna need the 9 gods to help us with a Sirarak.
You could have Vorn Jr. attack the skeleton that's in there. Then there'll only be one person in there, see if it changes anything.
I'm more worried about the traps than the skeleton.
Me as well.
You
Well, I
have your-
mean...
you could
sorry?
Have your, sorry. You could have your creature try to poke at a few things to see if it activates anything.
Okay.
Or at least gather intel.
That was going to be my suggestion as well.
Here's the thing, though. Do we know if these traps are sprung by just anything, or they have to be live to do it? Sometimes there's stuff that does that.
Well, as of right now, we have absolutely nothing, so we might as well at least narrow our options.
All right. I'll have Vorn Jr. Walk around the room, possibly start with whatever this thing is.
All right. You command it to walk in front of the case.
Well,
It stands there.
I don't know what that thing is. So have him look at, see if there's anything to interact with it.
It looks around, seemingly just it just raises up both of his hands and shrugs as it turns back towards you.
That's fair, though it is surprisingly intelligent, at least where our party's considered, because it has a +2.
Hey,
I'm smarter than it. I've got a +4. I'm twice as smart as Vorn Jr.
I am. No, I'm not even gonna finish that. I'm not.
Don't worry,
Yeah, like
Rabbit. It's
it's gonna
smarter.
turn to Dan. Looks like this guy has more sense of humor.
You cut out exceedingly badly.
Yeah.
How about now?
You're good.
You know.
This guy seems alright. Enoch made a bot with a bigger sense of humor than he has.
Enoch just rolls his one eye, and then he's like, okay, let's see if it can't interact with the coffin at least.
All right. Let me see. It looks down. Roll a strength check for Vern Jr.
Okay. Okay, it has no proficiency, so it's just a straight roll. It's just a straight roll plus 4. $15.
Yeah, oddly enough, as it looks around, sees that, and you see the lid of the sarcophagus as it puts both hands on it. You hear stone grind, and you see the lid of the sarcophagus slide off.
Is there anything inside, Vorn?
Looks over to you, nods.
See if you can't fish it out and bring it back here.
Okay. Okay, so as you see Vorn Jr. reach into the sarcophagus, you see it reach up and it touches, and you see it hold up a staff. Great smoke billows from the staff, coiling around it like a serpent. And you see it try to go inside of Vorn Jr. Stops for a second, but then it coalesces and goes back into the staff.
Alright, that looks like, try to remember the name of the snake.
Moa, I believe.
Alright, we've got the staff of Moa. Alright, Vorn, why don't you bring it on out?
It nods. And it manages to crawl its way back through.
Alright, now here's the question. Who here is willing to have a snake deity run around their head?
Slow arch to the eyebrow. What?
Oh, you know the story of the 9 gods and Ubtao, correct?
What do you think, Milla?
I'd say I'll allow you a history check to see if you've heard of it.
Okay. History. 15?
I'll say that in your time passing through, your father in passing had told you the story of the 9 trickster gods of Omu. So you're at least familiar with the legend.
I know the stories.
Well, points to, Tyrant Bane. See that ring on his hand?
I wiggle my little cow digit.
She nods.
That's currently housing the spirit of the trickster god Obalaka. And from the looks of it, that staff, that one is housing the spirit of Moa. Asirarak seemed to imprison them all here so he could do something, we don't know.
And as you're looking at the staff, oddly enough, you do see there's a snake motif coming from the staff.
They deserve freedom regardless.
What was Moa's thing again? Gobalaka's caution. What was Moa's deal?
I know they were fighting the Sioux monster.
Kawasha and Orvex kind of chime in. Well, if I recall correctly, it was Moa who had outed Wango, and Wango hated him for it. Or hated her. Him? Yes, him.
It's important.
I'm just gonna copy paste what legend you gave
Pronouns
me
are
into,
important.
But you copy and paste it into the freaking notes if you have it, Rabbit.
Yeah, I'm
Saving so
gonna
much
do
fucking
that
time.
Yeah.
because I like every week I'm like,
We do it every week.
yeah. Hold on, I got you.
Apparently, and Orvex chimes in, yes, it was, Wango stole a pail of water from the Omuans. And when Upta came looking for it, Wango hid it in Moa's burrow, and Moa couldn't lie about where it was, so Wango found out he betrayed them. He vowed to catch Moa and eat him up.
Yeah, vow to catch Fujikuli.
Well, it sounds like
So,
it might be.
Truth Serpent.
Yeah. And with the way that, from what we've heard, probably unable to lie.
So, who here? I'll carry Unk with me with Ubalaka. I think that'll be fine. But if I was to house all 9 of them in me, I feel like it would cause an inner turmoil within myself.
Yeah, we don't want you
Maybe.
going crazy.
That would be unwise.
What the hell? I'll take the Truth Serpent. I'm not even that good at lying anyway, so not really
was
much of a
gonna-
loss.
All
The funny
right.
thing, Dan, is I was actually gonna suggest you take it anyway because you're the most honest of all of us. And
Thank
maybe
you.
the truth servant can help you out with your witch problem
All right.
Hag,
or
but
hag
yes.
problem.
All right.
Killer
so,
grandma.
Varn Jr. holds out the staff towards you, Dan. Do you take it?
Dan will fly over and grab the staff.
Green smoke billows from the staff, coiling around you like a serpent. A sibilant voice whispers in your ear. Let me help you. I promise to be good. And you do not resist, correct?
Nope. I'll let the
All
serpent
right.
in.
I'll need everybody to mute except for Dan.
Okay.
Discord call with the snake.
All right, Dan. You are now being possessed by the spirit of Moa. I have to double check here what I find the thing in the game, but I can go ahead and look it up here. It's funny when you're talking about, not being able to lie. So, with Moa, while you're inhabited by Moa, you gain the following flaw, which overrides any opposing flaw. I must always speak the truth.
All right.
Also, while inhabited by Moa, you can use an action to turn invisible. Anything you are
Ooh.
wearing or carrying is invisible as long as it's on your person. The effect ends if you attack, cast a spell, force a saving throw, or deal damage, like with the invisibility spell.
And I can just do that as an action whenever?
Whenever, yeah. No limits.
Ooh. Oh, that's amazing. Add that in.
Alright, I have to find handouts again so I can get that properly. Everybody else can unmute once again.
And a bug game that is fucking broken. I love it.
Congratulations, it's a snake.
I'm going to abuse that so much.
You can sneak around everywhere.
I really can. Guys, check this out. And Dan will immediately activate Mo's invisibility and poof out of existence.
Well, dude, that's awesome.
I can just do this whenever now.
Oh,
Like,
that's
we don't,
fantastic.
so we don't see you or the broom at this point?
Nope.
Huh, but you're still there, right? As Tyrant Bane goes to nudge the air that you're possessing.
Yeah.
Nudge, nudge. Huh. That's astonishing. I can't tell any difference between you and the background.
Yep. And it's all thanks to Moa.
Huh.
Well, I think this is going to be the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Alright, well, we only got one more path to check.
Alright. Also, Dan, as you're holding and looking at the staff, like I said, oh, Enoch. I have to double check, because I think your vision is still up at this point. Let me just see.
It's about 10 minutes, I believe.
10 minutes. Yeah, Uh,
I will double check.
I suppose you would detect transmutation magic coming from this,
Yeah.
as you see Virgin, you're carrying it.
Yeah,
Well, this
that's
is a-
got a lot of transmutation magic coming from it.
Mela, I do have a question. Could I enchant Moa's staff to be my new broom, or would that be too many enchantments on the same object?
Uh,
I believe from knowing what homebrew you're using, it will specify if it can be magical or not magical.
Okay, let me sift through that.
I'll
I
see if
mean-
that's Moa itself, if that's alright with it. To have you.
Enchant broom. Ba-ba-ba-ba. See ritual. Make a witch's broom. Flying conveyance of any true witch. You know, take out a long ritual. Pair the broom, or with your DM's permission, any sufficient broom-like object. Become your witch's broom. After it's complete, broom of flying. Use the command word. Ba-ba-ba-ba.
you know
Use
what?
to move or anyone else. Perform rituals.
You know what? That's interesting. I like that idea. Let's go with it.
All right. It's going to take me a bit to properly do the actual ritual, so I'll probably do that at the next rest we take.
Okay. And I'll say if you want to during that time, if you want to wish to attune to this item as well.
Yes. So it's going to take an hour-long ritual to turn it into the broom, and I don't know how long it's going to take to attune.
Yep. So
Since you're already fresh with the god abilities, what does Obalaka do again? Or did I just get the thing of going like I'm
you
overtly
get
cautious?
you get the ability to attune to one additional magic item.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
instead of the normal 3 magic items you can attune to, you can attune to 4.
okay. Forgot to write that down, and then I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. All right, thank you.
You should have the handout for it in your handout specifically there.
Oh, it's the handout. There's so many handouts. Oh,
Yep.
golly.
Yep.
I'm
like I have.
not gonna lie to you, bro. It got lost in the sauce, so I just wrote down the character sheet. Thank you.
Yep. And I'll say that for you too as well, Draco. You also have Moa's handout in yours as well.
I just found it.
Also, Rabbit, when you said lost in the sauce, I just imagined Tyrant Bane with the Gucci Man ice cream face tattoo.
That's gonna be him.
Yes.
That's gonna be him going to the Sword Coast with Unk.
So, actually, if you guys want to take the time to, end game, attune to the staff and figure out, this actually seems like a perfectly good spot to take a break.
All right.
We're going on a little bit.
Rest.
Go ahead and grab a brewski real quick.
Yes, I need to
Yeah.
open a window. My room is feeling the effects of summer.
All right, I'll be right back.
It's hot.
I'm going to get water and get my dinner together. I'll be right back.
And chat, you'll be able to hear me fuss around my window, so hey, I'll still be here with you.
I'll be right back, ladies and
Alright, time to fight with this thing. Okay, yep. Luckily, I can see Discord audio, so I can see that immediately brings in my air conditioner from outside. So I'm going to open a window somewhere else in the house. I'll be right back, chat.
back.
I'm not back yet. No, you didn't know. You heard nothing.
I'm also back from having to climb on my kitchen counter like a spider monkey to get to my only ever window I could open in this house. Oh. But aren't all D&D live play podcasts ASMR streams, Robot? Asking the real questions here.
It's true.
Yeah, the sound of the
Thing
dice.
to come back to.
Also, hello, Robot. Hello, Lady K. Nice to see you all here.
Yeah, I want to thank Curious Lily for swinging on by mid-game for the raid. That was real nice. And I'm glad for all the people who are sticking around and enjoying the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a few people tonight.
Yeah. Glad to have all of you in company.
Including what might be the best name I've seen so far. Hubba Ding Dong.
Bubba's been here since the start.
Oh yeah, he's been around.
Yeah, Bo's been one of the people watching us from the start, like of all our games. They're one of our main viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, still doesn't excuse the fact he has the best name.
Yeah.
Oh. Also, possibly we have whoever's been going to the YouTube channel recently, and any recent video that gets put up for D&D content gets boosted between 40 and 50 views. So, if you're here in the chat now, thank you. I don't know what you're doing with your life, but hey, it's nice.
Yeah. Thank you for supporting the content.
Also, shout out to Hazza. I miss playing with you, man.
Oi there, Hazza! How you doing?
Knowing him, he's
everyone's Australian friend.
Yes. If I had to guess what he's doing right now, it's either reading One Piece or thinking about Digimon.
Or both.
True.
Also, if they're in the chat, also a big shout out to Alpha Rat with that fan art that they posted last session. The chats of Wick at rest. That was moving. Man.
Oh yeah, no. Elpharad always did love drawing Wick, and of course I get to draw the last bit.
Yes, that legitimately made me tear up. Like, holy crap, that was a beautiful art. All right.
It's like I joke with you guys, I promised myself I wouldn't cry, but yeah, I legitimately cried while we were doing the send off dream sequence. I'm just like, holy crap.
Now that's a hard question to answer, El Robot, but all I could really say is that despite what you would think it'd be some kind of cyborg Digimon, Frankie would have Ogremon, just so that way he would have somebody who could match his forearms for the pose.
I have returned.
Welcome back.
Oh, I can finally start to feel some air circulating in this house, but it's so minimal. I am definitely
For some reason, if I was thinking about what One Piece characters would have for Digimon, I would imagine Usopp would have Puppetmon.
Oh, that so fits.
Just because of the hammer and the big nose.
Let me see what I got here. I saw a meme today that reminded me of Yvonne. I sent it to you.
Ooh, I'll wait for Discord to proc. There it is. I'll have to watch that for a second off stream because I just realized that the audio from that is going to immediately blare over the speakers. But I saw
you fell for my tricks again, Spider-Man!
You always get me with the japes.
I do. When you least expect it.
Oh, I was actually watching Yaro Shien's D6 Black Archives this weekend, and a character related to the Baba Yaga popped up, and immediately the first thing that popped into my head when that happened was Babushka!
Babushka.
Nah, bubby.
The sad thing is that I don't even think of the myth of the Baba Yaga anymore. I think of freaking John Wick.
For me and Rabbit, it'll always go back to the one shot we did where that was my patron. And I'm just going around. Yes, Babushka's fine with this.
Babushka's fine with it.
Alright. So, is everybody back? Are we set to continue?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yes.
Alright, then let's get back into the session proper. As for the sake of brevity, I'll allow the chance for Dan to perform the ritual on the staff as well as attune to the staff. As Dan, this is a staff of the Python.
Ooh.
And let me go ahead and grab that off the compendium. Requires attunement by cleric, druid, or warlock, or I'll allow a witch too in this case. You can use an action to speak the staff's command word and throw the staff on the ground within 10 feet of you. The staff becomes a giant constrictor snake under your control and acts on its own initiative count. By using a bonus action to speak the command word again, you return the staff to its normal form in a space formerly occupied by the snake. On your turn, you can mentally command the snake if it is within 60 feet of you and you aren't incapacitated. You decide what action the snake takes and where it moves during its next turn, or you can issue it a general command such as to attack your enemies or guard a location. If the snake is reduced to 0 hit points, it dies or reverts to its staff form. The staff then shatters and is destroyed. If the snake reverts to staff form before losing all hit points, it regains all of them.
Okay. So there's a chance I could lose this staff forever if I'm not careful.
Possibly.
The snake will be with you forever.
Look, it'd be amazing, like if you do the staff turns into a snake and just slithers away.
Although since I'm using it as my new broom, I don't know how often I'm going to let it be a snake. Now that I know that. So maybe I'll just keep my regular broom then instead of enchanting it so I can use it as its snake self.
Well, it also still gives you your
Fair enough.
invisibility ability, so I would say it's more useful for that.
True. I think that's just because I have Moa with me that I'm allowed to turn invisible.
But we
Because
don't
that's
know
from the spirit form.
I mean,
Above the game, I'll say this right now. You don't have to be physically in possession of the magic items to gain the benefits of the possession of these trickster gods. True, they were already in the items when you acquired them, but their spirits are physically possessing you and allowing those abilities. You could give the staff to somebody else if you wanted, and you still gain the benefits of Moa, because Moa is still possessed with inside you. Just like Tyrant Mane can give the Ring of Protection to somebody else, and Obalaka can still inhabit him. So,
good to know.
Okay. I'm good with keeping the staff and having a snake rod.
alright.
Also, Mill, there's one thing I wanted to run by you since we're going to have to do a rest and Vorn Jr. is going to pop. I wanted to see if I could try something before he disappears.
Okay, what's that?
So I know with some constructs, you're able to do this. So I would just say Enoch's kind of looking at him all banged up and kind of thinks to himself, and that's when, if I can pull my character sheet back up, he's going to touch it and cast Mending.
Ah, yes!
So I know the general thing for constructs is that if you cast Mending on them, they can get back, I want to say it's between 1d6 and 1d8. So that's a DM ruling, so I want to see if you were cool with that.
As I understand it, Mending repairs 1d8 of a construct. For
Okay.
help.
Well, he's gonna disappear anyway in the time it'll take Dan to attune to everything, but that's good to know for future reference.
Mm-hmm.
Enoch will just be looking like that. Oh, I can take care of you. Okay, big guy. And he'll just pat him on his big metal chest, and I guess you'll just hear a bunch of bong, bong, bong from metal hand on metal chest.
And as the hour passes, you see Vorn collapse and return to a pile of rust. Alright. So, with that out of the way, I'm assuming you guys want to go visit that last hallway that's up over this direction.
Yeah.
That would be the plan.
Alright, place yourselves right here.
Alrighty.
And let me reveal more of this hallway. Is right there. And let me go ahead and read the description of this hallway. And where is it? There it is. Carved birds soar across the walls of this corridor. Blocking the passage near its northern edge is a large adamantine propeller with 5 sharp blades. And let's see. Rue, what's your passive perception?
My passive perception, I believe, is a 16.
As you're looking
Yes.
down this hallway, you notice that the entirety of this hallway looks to be one giant pressure plate.
Problematic. Does it look like it's also on the roof?
No.
Ooh, woo. So, by the looks of things, this is one large trap. However, I could possibly get on the roof if we wanted.
How can you climb onto the roof?
She smirks a little bit. I have my ways.
Oh,
Enoch asleep. Oh, go ahead.
I don't really have the same ways you do. We Minotaurs are normally ground-bound people.
Oh boy. Caitlin,
Mhm.
if you're going the way I think you're gonna go with this, let's see how it works.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, I'm not doing anything just yet. Rue is not as reckless as Wick is.
Fair enough.
It's like we're all like, oh god, she's gonna do something. We're just you doing something as Wick.
I can't wait to go ahead and get to the end of this and be like, we beat the campaign. Many thanks to Caitlin 7, Rabbit 1-6, and Draco 129.
Damn. I went through a lot. Jeez.
Yeah, we fought the Necromancer. We kind of hid behind the pile of dead Dans. It was kind of cool.
So it's like Gamers Darkness Rising, where I just have a giant pile of Bard character sheets.
No one in years knew what the fuck I meant from that! Are you kidding me? Here?
Yeah.
Wow! Wow! Okay.
18 more of me, asshole!
Yeah!
No, just imagine it's like
References, we got it for you, ladies and gentlemen.
We did it!
I just like to imagine it's also like if you've ever been on E.T. the ride at Universal Studios. When you're going through the end of the ride, it's just like, thank you, Wick, thank you, Enoch. It's just going through the ride at E.T. just says all of your names at the end.
Well,
Obscure reference, I know, but
back
right.
to this. So the whole
Yeah.
hallway's a pressure point, you're saying?
Yes. By the
Okay.
looks of things, anyway.
Dan, can you tell me how much, like, farther it goes past that giant blade of death?
Dan will take a look. I can just hover over with the broom, not touching the plate, and see.
Alright. As you go to fly your way up, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. You can see a little bit into this as well. As the hallway opens up. I'll say you can see this. Yeah, we'll say you can see that from where you're at right now.
I see a room further behind, about 30 feet or so from the blade.
I can't really do my teleporting thing that far, so I could probably get past the blade, but I'm not sure if there's going to be pressure plates behind it.
How
I can.
how high is the ceiling and how high does the blade go up?
The ceiling is 8 foot high in this corridor, and the fan pretty much takes up the entire span of this hallway.
Alright, so my plan is bust. Never mind.
I can take 2 people to the. You said there's a hallway down, or there's a room down that hallway, right?
Yes.
I can take one person with me with a dimension door. Let's be honest, if there's anyone who's gonna spring the trap, it's gonna be me. Sorry about that for the other day again.
It's all right. Accidents happen.
Well-
Like he balls again.
Now here's the question: can you do that twice to get in and get out?
Like in Casted, basically one way each.
All right. Well, now we gotta figure out who would go in with him. We would need someone smart enough to handle a puzzle. I guess at that point, I guess Enoch would probably just be looking at Rue and Dan.
Rude, like Rude Dan or Rude Iron Man.
I was gonna say my intelligence is actually pretty good, so I could. It's respectable.
All right. Who we got for
mind.
volunteers? Because it's the best we got right now.
But, like I am like right there now. Then next to Elise.
I could,
mean,
I could
could
take
also-
a hit if we really needed to, if any danger presented itself.
If I go over there, I can communicate with the rest of you with Yuki, and we could figure it out together if we can't figure it out to get me and Zeno.
That's a good point. So Dan, you ready?
Sure. Dan will hover down, wait for Zeno to get on, and port us over.
Yeah, because it's me though, but gotta do this first. Alright, no surge. Let's go.
All right. So as you dash to port your way past the pillar and land on this edge, let me go ahead and reveal the whole room and describe it for the lot of you. There we go. A deep pit opens up at the entrance to this tomb, with a stone sarcophagus resting at the bottom. A snarling, monkey-like creature decorates the sarcophagus lid. Beyond the pit, 3 treasure chests sit on stone deities. The chest on the left, which I will highlight right here, is carved of black onyx. The middle chest is made of rusty iron, and the chest on the right is cast of silver and is glistening with frost.
Dan will telepathically communicate with Yuki and inform everyone of the room in general. And
Oh yeah, Rue, you hear the dog talk.
She blinks down at it. Oh.
is gonna look through Yuki's eyes to see her reaction after doing that.
She looks enchanted.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I can talk.
You get used to it.
Hi.
Okay, above game. Look, I like listening to lo-fi when I'm playing these, and right now Spider Dick just came on. It's like that is the perfect song for this.
No, Yuki just totally did the SpongeBob thing. Just Rue looks at Yuki. Yuki's just like, hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Tyrant Bane will lean over to Rue. Yuki is also incredibly soft. Like, amazingly.
Naturally.
Yuki just kind of stands a little prouder at that.
Now, sounds like you're in the tomb of the Sioux monster.
Yep, that tracks. Not sure what the deal is with the 3 different chests.
Well,
So,
I also
we-
examine the sarcophagus, see what's going on with that.
Okay.
Oh, wait, when you say Sioux monster, I want to do something real quick. Tyrant Bane's going to lift up Yuki. And just like, because he doesn't understand how this works, so he thinks it's like a one-way line to Dan. So he's gonna hold Yuki in both hands to where, like, you know how you pick up a dog and its arm just straight out has that bell ass thing going on?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dan, remember the Sioux monster. Long ago, the Sioux monster found out how Moa betrayed him. You have Moa in you. Do not touch the artifact.
Right.
That is a very good point.
You know, another thought occurs to me. We're going to have to open this sarcophagus, and neither of us is the strongest.
So I'll
If only
say
I
as
had
a
a way to get over there.
so
I'm gonna double check Dimension Door real quick.
So let me just clarify real quick. Zeno and Dan, you're both currently on Dan's broom of flying as you're kind of hovering over this 20-foot pit that's looking down, and you see the sarcophagus that's in it.
I'm gonna see if I can jump down and like roll something to see if like there's a plaque or anything like that.
I'll
All
drop
right.
you down, or I'll bring the broom down so you don't hurt yourself from the jump.
All right.
Will I roll
As-
investigation or?
As you go to descend down closer to this chest, Dan, you feel a gorge of hatred rising up within you as you said, "Oh, it's him, Wongo."
Right.
I do not like Wongo. I do not want to help Wongo.
I understand, but we'll need all the help we can get. You don't have to talk
Right.
with Wongo.
Right. You're talking to the spirit inside your head. That's gonna take getting used to.
I could probably just think at Noah now that I think about it. I don't have to speak out loud. Oh well. It's more... I feel like it's better for everyone to understand, even though they're only getting one part of the conversation. But yeah, Moa's not happy.
No, that makes sense. Do I see anything?
Yeah, before I get to you, Rue, I'm gonna go ahead and describe the sarcophagus a little bit. This sarcophagus lid, it's carved with a... It's a stone sarcophagus, and as you're looking at it, you see stylized carvings that are on the lid that are depicting Sioux monsters on top of it. And aside from that, there aren't really any other features that are on it. But just to kind of flashback, Rue, you were saying something?
I just want to test something. Here, stand back for just a moment. Is there like a small-ish stone that would be about the size and weight of a small frog, shall we say?
Let's see. Well, there's that pile of rust where Vorn Jr. currently was at.
Okay. She'll take a moment to just kind of stroll over and just get like something that, you know, would probably about the right weight.
Okay.
And I just want to test how sensitive these are. If anybody wants to step back, I don't want to cause any harm.
Okay. You take a handful of rust. Let's see, how much does rust weigh? I have to look up this for math. Never thought I'd have to answer that question tonight.
You can also
Can
say that there's
answer
just...
your question. It depends on the size of the rust. Thank you. Next question.
Also,
well,
you could...
here, how much
Mass.
does a tiny frog weigh?
That's a Monty question.
That is a
I'm
Monty
going to-
question.
No, that's a question tailor-made for Kalen.
0.01
I was just thinking that.
0.01 grams.
You
If
take
you
a little
take-
bit of rust.
So yeah, I would
about a
mostly
handful, we'll see. Kind of
Yeah.
feels about the weight of a frog. You put it on the plate,
Yep.
nothing happens.
Okay. And do the blades look like they have like gaps between them that a frog could theoretically squeeze itself on through?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a creature could theoretically squeeze through the blades.
Okay. I might be able to get through. Do you think I should try to help them out?
If you think it would be wise, do you have a way to get through this? I certainly
do.
don't. Oh. What do you plan to do? Oh, you're gonna turn into that. You're gonna turn into a. No, a bear would be too heavy.
She kind of lifts her arms, and you just see a bunch of like different animal track tattoos. And she just kind of presses her hand to what looks like a little frog, and next thing you know, she turns
Well,
into a
game I was
tiny
gonna be
frog.
like, wait, can't she turn into a lizard? Because lizards can just climb on the side of the wall.
You catalog every single animal you've seen in the jungle on your skin? It's
Ribbit.
amazing.
She ribbits.
If I
That's
get
gonna
a
take getting
tattoo of
used to.
Ankh, I could turn into a flail snail. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, you're a small frog currently, Rue.
Tyron Bane is now lost in his own thought about wanting to be closer to Ankh.
She's gonna start hippity hopping her way. She is considered tiny.
Yep. Yeah, as you go the hop through. Yeah, you do manage to leap onto the plate, and nothing happens.
Okay, cool. She's gonna squeeze her way around the blades.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tiny little frog gets there.
All right.
Yep. And looks over, messages Yuki, there's a frog now.
Tyron Bane grabs Yuki, just one arm, just do not attack it. It's Rue.
Yes, I was going to tell him. Yeah, that's Rue. She turned herself into a frog.
Okay.
All right. Well,
No, I'm sorry. That's too forward of me.
I think you should probably inspect the chests, not just the sarcophagus.
Yep.
Those are what I'm more afraid of, honestly.
I actually agree with that. One of them has frost all over them. This could end potentially bad, considering they may be trapped.
Enoch,
And again,
Enoch smacks his forehead. Remember, the Sioux monster was the trixiest of all the trickster gods. You're basically in a giant puzzle box.
fun and terrifying.
Well, we just gotta get these chests open in the right order, it seems.
Yeah,
Again, like, I'm gonna ask if there's, like, if I can look around to see if there's any, like, plaque or anything like that has, like, a hint.
From the sarcophagus you're at, or do you want to go up and inspect the chests?
Or just walk around everywhere until I try to find something.
Okay, so I
Don't do
assume,
the
Dan, you
same
go
thing.
in and ferry Zeno out of the pit,
Yeah.
and you make your way over to the chests. And, yeah, you see Rue as a frog just hopping over and standing in front of that chest. Yeah, it looks like the chests are securely stuck to the floor. And the lids are currently closed on all of them.
I'm above getting Mario 64 vibes from these chests.
I'm honestly
everything's a puzzle
expecting one.
box. Do you remember Kingsfield? Yeah, it's worse. Oh no.
Honestly expecting one of them to be a mimic. And the others are just gonna shoot horror at us.
If it's a mimic, I'm just gonna have this, like, the moral dilemma, like, how?
So,
If it's a mimic, I'm shooting a lightning bolt at it. I don't even care.
I
so
just,
Rabbit,
In front of me, this is your one warning.
So, Rue, you were saying something?
Rabbit, you said you had the notes for the story. Do you have that?
I have a note for the story. Would you like the notes for the story?
I would like to read the story.
All right, I'm going to give you the notes for the story.
Yes, thank you.
All right, no problem. Give me, man. I'm gonna DM you the notes for the story.
No, thank you kindly.
Oh, no problem. Here, oh, I'm just gonna type your name.
Also,
I'm blessed with so many friends on Discord.
I was about to say, Rabbit, if you wanted to make it quicker, you could just copy them and put them in the party notes tab in the Discord.
Good, because it said your message is too long, and when I tried to put it in Discord, just tried to DM it to Caitlin, and I was like, oh, for God's sake. Oh, I'll put this in party notes. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yay!
So, while that's getting placed in the party notes, Dan, Rue, Zeno, what do you wish to do?
I'd like to examine the chests, maybe roll investigation, see if there's any
Yeah,
sort of
same.
clue around here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You won't need an investigation check as you're kind of looking
course.
around the chest. Are you touching them?
Like, Zeno might be. I don't know if Dan should.
I don't think Dan would. He's too cautious. Also, Zeno has Mage Hand. Theoretically, we could just sit in the corner of the room and have him Mage Hand them all open to see what happens.
If you say that, please say you say that above game or in game, because that's like,
Yeah, I didn't say that above game. Dan will look at Zeno. Zeno, we could all just, get into one of the corners of the room and have you open all the chests with your Mage Hand now that I think about it.
Okay.
wait, you're saying be away from the danger?
Yes,
I like this.
I know it's a wild concept for us, but hear me out.
He's already over here.
All right. So you make your way over towards that corner. Zeno, you cast your Mage Hand, and what specifically are you looking to do with your Mage Hand?
He's going to try to, when he got a good look at the chest, like, what do they look like exactly?
Yeah.
Like,
Again, going from left to right. Left chest looks like it's carved of onyx. Middle chest looks like rusty metal. Right chest is silver with frost on it.
maybe it's the wealth or like the value of the chests.
Maybe.
Rue, you might want to get over here just in case something pops out.
Yeah, pretend I'm over there. I'm reading.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, do you intend to open the chests or try to?
Which one should I? All right, you three. I'm gonna let, or you two. I'm gonna let you two decide. Which one should I open first?
Well, if we're going based on value, is silver or onyx more valuable? I think silver?
It actually might be onyx. I think you could trade onyx for silver.
I mean, you'd probably know more. Money was a relatively new concept to me, so... yeah.
Photo
Plus
press.
the-
Let's see what the rest of the group thinks.
Also fair. And then we'll, give the information to the rest of the group of our plans and which chests we're thinking about opening.
All right. Yuki relays the message. Well, what do you guys think? Which chest should they open first?
Because of the frost, I'm thinking it might be that one because Jakuli was the water thief, and that's the only one with water.
You hear a message back, Dan. Try the cold one first.
All right. They
All right.
say try the cold one. If we're doing that, I'd recommend we go to the opposite corner in the event it shoots anything out at us.
That's smart. I'm gonna go over here.
All right.
Like, go over here to where he can see the chest and.
Sorry, Caitlin. I tried to move it, and I didn't realize you were there too. But yeah, you managed to make your way over. You use your Mage Hand, and surprisingly, the lid of the chest opens, and nothing happens.
All right.
All right, so that worked.
Okay. I'm gonna fly on over and take a peek inside.
Inside the silver chest, you see that the chest is empty, and as you're looking inside this, you see... Actually, as you're looking inside, you see there is a lock and a key that is inside of the chest. Like the key is actually inserted inside the lock from the inside.
All right. Weird. There is a key that is in a lock inside the chest.
Oh,
Is the key itself inside the lock?
Yes.
Should I Turn the key?
I do not have. Rue does not have the knowledge. Doe.
You go and try and turn the key. It is stuck firmly in place.
Alright. It will not turn.
Hmm.
So, are we opening these in descending order then, and doing onyx and then rust?
Enoch looks
Well,
over. Oh, sorry.
Well, that was. Yeah, honestly, it'd be. I would go with the. I'm gonna try the honest one then, if no one has any objection.
All right. You use your mage hand and you manage to open the lid on that chest as well. And upon looking inside that chest, like the silver chest, it is empty. There is a key that is inserted on the lock on the inside of this chest as well.
Right? One left.
You go and you manage to open the rusty chest as well. And exactly like the other two, key is inserted to the lock on the inside of this chest as well.
Why do I have the feeling that these 3 keys are the main part of this puzzle?
Most likely.
Rue's gonna pop back to normal. So, you people said before that you had received a riddle or a warning rather, that you needed masks, correct?
Correct.
Were there any other warnings along with it? Any other hints?
Think. Let's see. So the first one, the enemies oppose, one stands between them. In darkness it hides. Don the mask or be seen. Speak no truth to the doomed child. The keys turn on the inside only.
Well, there it is.
Turn on the inside only.
From what I'm gonna take this as a wild guess, but it wasn't the chest that we had to open in the right order. It's the keys we have to open in the right order.
Okay. Well, when I tried the key that was in the silver chest, it didn't turn. So maybe the one we have to turn first will actually turn?
I'll be right back.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Also, while
So
Rabbit's
we're-
gone, I want to thank Distortion Devil for the raid. That's crazy.
Oh,
Yes,
Oh, hi,
thank you,
Connor.
Connor. That's amazing. Thank you.
Thanks for the
Oh.
raid.
you chose a hell of a time to join in as our intrepid adventurers are trying to deal with a trap or some sort of puzzle.
Trying to deal with a trap and one of them idiots.
Hmm.
All right. So Dan, which chest do you want to go to next?
I would- Like that. Like I was gonna stop him. I actually think that again because you are going along with the antagonist god for this guy. You probably should stand back.
You know what? That's a fair point. Dan's gonna just chill in the corner so Moa doesn't get angry.
Zeno, seeing that he was gonna go for that one, he's gonna try to turn the key into this chest.
All right. You stand outside. You go and try and grab the key, and it is stuck firmly in place. It does not turn.
All right, so it's not that one.
And
Walk
you move
over
to the
here.
rusty run. And just like the other ones, as you try and open it from the outside, it does not turn. It is stuck firmly in place.
All right, so before he leaves, he's gonna try to take the key out of that chest.
It is stuck firmly in place.
Dan, are you relaying any of this back to the rest of us?
Yeah, I relay everything to everyone.
All right. Enoch picks up the Yuki phone.
Bring.
Hello, this is Dog.
Moshy mosh.
Yeah. I think because, again, Trickster God, I think you have to close the lids and then find a way to twist the keys inside them while they're closed.
It does
Ooh.
make sense, but how would we? Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. All right. So he's gonna take a few steps back. Go with the rusted one. You put his mage hand inside the box, and then, or like actually, he's gonna put his mage hand inside the box, and then close the box, and then step back. This might be stupid, but it might work. He's gonna try to turn the key with a mage hand.
Okay. Let me just see this here. All right, so run that plan again for me, Zeno, as I was trying to elaborate something and that was written.
So before he stepped back, he was gonna activate his mage hand again.
Okay.
Put the mage hand in the chest, close the chest, and then take a step back and try to turn it.
Okay, and which chest were you doing that with? All right, with the rusty chest. All right, you close the lid. You take a few steps back. As you feel the mage hand turn the key, Rue and Dan, I'll say because you're on the broom. You notice that on the lid of the sarcophagus, a button appears to emerge on the top of the sarcophagus, and it looks like a rusty orange-looking button.
Well, something happened.
Uh,
So we're on the right track,
Hmm.
possibly.
Dan will once again relay that a rust button has appeared on the sarcophagus to everyone else.
All right. Now here's the question: do you want to try pressing the button, or do you want to try turn the keys and see if any other buttons appear?
I think it would be wise to get the other buttons as well.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that's what I'm thinking as well. Zeno's gonna follow suit with the Onyx one.
All right, you cast your mage hand inside the onyx chest. You close the lid, and as you make the mage hand turn that key, a black button appears on the lid of the sarcophagus.
Alright, that's 2.
And for the sake of brevity, you do this. You also put the mage hand in the silver chest. You close the lid, step back, and as the mage hand turns that key, you see a silver button appear on the lid of the sarcophagus.
Alright, you two, let's see if we can push these buttons at the same time if something happens. Actually, again, Dan, you don't do anything. Rue, can you come here, please?
No.
And you're sort of lounging on his broom, watching the events unfold.
All right. So, which button are you guys gonna push first?
You know what? I'm gonna do blue.
All right. So, as you go to push the blue button, Rue, Dan, you manage to feel a very cold presence and ice begin to glare out from the lid of that chest. Even from where you're standing, that's a very cold presence you feel. And the button vanishes from on top of the sarcophagus.
So something cold just appeared from the silver frost chest.
We're just gonna like blow into her hands and warms them. Unpleasant, but that seems to be it.
Yeah, let's keep going. I'm gonna press the Onyx button.
All right. You press the Onyx button. That button vanishes. And Dan, you hear a click and a resounding thud seemingly coming from that. Almost like the sound of a roaring train coming from inside that chest.
I'm sure that's fine.
I'm sure that nothing sinister will come from that.
Alright, in for a pet, or in for a copper, in for a silver. Put in, or press the final button.
All right. As you go to press the rusty button, Dan, you hear the sound of something almost like you hear a click and a weird sound coming from that chest. But as that last button is pressed for Rue and Zeno, you see that the stone begins to turn not into stone, but it begins to turn more into glass. It turns into a transparent crystal, revealing a mummified monkey-like creature within. Clutched in its desiccated claws is a fearsome mace.
Oh boy. Well, we said that Dan can't touch this, yes? So it's one of us two?
I'm not really good with weapons, honestly, so you might have to take this one.
She makes a bit of a face. Hmm. She's gonna, like, bunch up some of her cloak into her hand, and she's gonna grab the mace with that.
Apparently, this is all. Imagine a sarcophagus. It's turned from stone.
Right,
The entire thing
there's
is
glass over it, right.
Yep. It's a transparent crystal, so it basically looks like glass.
I have to step away for a second. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Sounds good, Dan.
Well, I would assume that Dan's again relaying all this.
Yeah.
Yep. I was doing above game, yeah.
Then Enoch would just relay through Dan. Is it the same kind of crystal as the one we had to spend 10 minutes busting apart?
Is it?
Oh, but looks a lot thinner than the glass pane that was across Obalaka's tomb.
It would likely be much more breakable. Hopefully.
And
You can always shatter it again.
Alright, what are you going to use to break the glass?
Rue,
let's
Rue, get behind me. I don't want anything to happen to you.
She's just gonna step back.
No, I mean behind me, behind me.
She's gonna roll her eyes and just do it.
Alright, I'm back.
Yeah. Just cast a third level shatter on the thing.
Are you doing it while you're inside right next to it, according to your token?
Oh, it's all like right here.
Alright.
Let me do this first, because like this is the reason I'm like, yeah, she's probably get away. Holy shit! That was close.
Close.
Ooh.
Alright, well, roll for your shatter damage.
You just
Oh, that's disappointing.
Hmm.
Can I get a reroll of that?
Alright, yeah, if you can spend sorcery points, you can certainly reroll that. That too, I believe you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that once again, but I have to. I'm gonna have to do a chaos thing because of it. Here we go. There's another one.
Okay.
Now once again, this is third level, so there we go. That's a lot better.
Alright.
That's a total of, let's see, 2, 8, 13, 26 points of damage on this glass.
Alright, so, as you go to cast a shatter the first time, you see spider cracks begin to form along the edges of the sarcophagus. And, not satisfied with you, cast it again. And the crystal shatters. And suddenly, as you're looking down at this, the monkey-like creature that is within the sarcophagus, you see one red eye go to light up as it has the mace in its hand. And it rises up and it goes to look at you. And that's where we're going to have to end our session for tonight.
Oh no.
Oh,
Aw.
shit!
Well, hey,
Oh, jeez!
on the bright side, Dan, now while you're possessed by Moa, you can kick the ass of their enemy.
True. Good news, Moa. We get to beat up your enemy.
Right.
Oh. Well, yeah, I want to thank everybody who's raided because we got 3 in one night. So, Curious Lily, Distortion, Devil, and Farting Tart, thank all of y'all for coming out to the raid.
Hey.
Hey.
We live another day inside the Tomb of Annihilation, just as Tart and them live another day in Barovia.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Only down to 5 sorcery points.
Not sure
man.
which is worse, Barovia or the Tomb.
That's a very good question. I've not had a chance to play through Ravenloft and Strahd, but
Oh, you
as
haven't?
somebody who has played through Tomb, I can make a definite strong case for it since I'm running it.
I've ran Curse of Strahd. There's a lot of horrifying things in that country.
Oh, well. Let's start going down the line. Caitlin, where can they find you?
Hello, I'm CaitlinC37. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter, CaitlinC37, where I do art. Commissions are open, so if y'all want any paintings done, just find all my information there, and we can get things all set up.
Nice. Milla, where can they find you?
Hello, you can find me on Twitter at MillenNinjaNerd, where I usually post about wholesome, fun, dirty things. Or you can find me occasionally when I stream at twitch.tv/MillenNinja, or on Monday nights when I play at twitch.tv/LeJake for Trials of Edo's Legacy of the Dealbreakers. Our hiatus is finally up since LeJake has just about finished moving, and we can resume the sessions as normal starting next week, I believe. And I can't wait to get back into the main story because, I miss my High Elf Wizard Monk. He is such a good bean. Aside from that, not much else on my end.
All right, DeLuna, where can they find you?
Y'all can find me on Twitter at DLuna1338. And then hopefully soon on the Twitch, the person's Power Rangers D&D campaign, we're looking to hopefully start in a couple weeks.
Ooh, nice.
I have the official look for him, and I can't wait for the rest of you fine people to meet Nova, because he is going to be a fun character to play. If you liked your brief taste of Zeno today, you're gonna love him. Because he's Zeno but confident.
All right, moving down the line. Chaco, where can they find you?
Hi, you can find me here on Tuesdays playing Elise. You can find me on Twitter at ChocoZombie11. As well as soon you will be able to find me on Thursdays as soon as we get it started in our Power Rangers Cyber Strike TTRPG campaign over on twitch.tv/TwitchThePerson. Again, no set full start date has been set, but we'll announce that as soon as we come to that consensus. And I can't wait for you to meet my lovely Red Ranger. Also, this coming weekend, do you like wrestling and do you like video games? Our community over at Multiverse Nexus Wrestling will be putting together our Multivania finale. It will be the end of this current season, as well as our last hurrah with WWE 2K19. May it rest in peace. So go ahead and check it out if you get a chance.
Oh, that'll let rest in peace. Throw it into a pyre like it deserves.
Give it a Viking funeral.
Alrighty, well, Draco, where can they find you?
Everyone, you can find me on YouTube as Draco Magnus. You can find me on Twitter at DMagnus. And you can find me here on Twitch at Draco_Magnus. I stream every Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. East Standard Time. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing Super Paper Mario. I just finished up Thousand Year Door and decided, hey, let's just keep the Paper Mario train a-rolling. I don't remember much about Super Paper Mario, but I remember that it starts with Peach and Bowser getting married, so that's fun. And then on Friday, we're going to be looking for the rest of our party after the world ended. We still got to find everyone. And also, we're looking for a flying machine that apparently the last Luminary had. But more importantly, the friends. Gotta find those friends.
Friends are important.
You
Along
can't beat the
way.
Lord of Darkness if you don't have friends. It's just requirement.
Unless you had more arms.
You know what? That's fair. I hadn't considered.
True. Just become a darker lord. Then you beat the ass of him and take his kingdom.
There you go.
A bigger, blacker lord.
And
I get that reference.
yep. Rabbit, where can they find you?
What's going on? My name's Rabbit. I'm a writer and a comedian. I stream Monday through Friday on Twitch at Hey Mr. Rabbit. You can also find me on Twitter at Hey Mr. Rabbit. Doing all kinds of stuff. I'm a variety streamer by trade. If you like horror games, retro games, and RPGs, I'm your boy. Yesterday we ended up playing. We've done a lot of online games this week, actually. Now that I think about it. On Monday, we for 4th of July, we played RuneScape 3 and did fun Christmas quests there because, Christmas in July. I thought that was cute. Oh my god, the quests were adorable. Like, they're fucking adorable. It's legally adorable. It can't be done. And today we just ended up playing Guild Wars 2. That was pretty fun. They did a complete rework that broke every class but mine. So I was really enjoying that, playing a really broken engineer. God, it was illegal. I felt like I was on a private server. Like, I was like, get the fuck out. Like, champion monsters. I'm like, get out of here. What are you doing in my house?
Just smack it so hard you just break the microphone, just like.
I've been wanting to, I've always loved engineer classes. And for the entirety of Guild Wars 2, it's been the weakest class. And then the balance patch came out, and now engineer's like the strongest, and they reworked rifle, so instead of just being a single shot rifle, it's like a 50 cal with a grenade tracer.
Ooh.
It's dumb. Oh yeah, no, I run around like soldier. But on top of that, if you like older video games, like how Draco was doing, I've never been well, we were Nintendo kids, my sister and I, but I didn't really play Paper Mario. My sister did. She was that. But to that end, I still have a lot of really old RPGs like Grandia 2, Tale of Symphonia. We also playing horror games like Nightmare of Decay, Resident Evil Revelations, which I never played. And I also have the Castlevania Advanced Collection that I'm really looking forward to digging my teeth into.
I've played Tales of Symphonia, but I've never beaten it. That final boss is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that final boss. But
So,
man, it's a certificate there.
So that being said, Twitch and Twitter, Hey Mr. Rabbit. I stream Monday through Friday. I'm a variety streamer. Kick your feet up. It's pretty fun. All kinds of friends join me.
Yep. And you've already found me here at twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at BurnoutVaughn, where I upload VODs. For any of the people who stuck around from our various raids who want to see all of where we started and how we got into the Tomb of Annihilation, there is a playlist up for all of Chult Personality, as well as our other D&D game that we play every other Saturday, which is Saved by a Spell, where we're going through Strixhaven. So if you like that kind of idea or just want to catch up on my stream VODs, check that out. Tomorrow we're probably going to be doing some more Bravely Default 2 in the mid-afternoon to early evening, seeing what we can get up to. And then I'm not sure for the rest of the week, because Saved by a Spell is off, and I've got some other irons in the fire to start setting up for, because we got a mini-series of something coming in the works in August. And once I have more information on that, you can find it on my Twitter, as well as all over the place, because I like to shill. But now it's time for us to find somebody to raid. I see Zito and Bromad on.
Ooh.
Let's see. Bromaz.
Yeah. I say let's pet the doggo.
All right.
I also have Nutcase.
That's true. We've never raided Nutcase.
Yeah, that case does good art too.
Okay, let me just see if I can get the name right here.
Yep, not case art.
The card is saying pet the dog.
Pet the dog.
So do we? Okay, dog or cat? This is the question.
Engage
Hmm.
I
democracy.
mean,
The age-old question.
Bromad is good dog.
All
Bromad
right,
is
I
a
think
good dog.
I think we've
Yeah.
got enough going for Bromad. We will take it over to the Nomad. So 1 second here.
So I have a quick question.
Yeah, you and him have a lot in common. They're dogs.
El Robot, what was the quote for tonight's session?
Oh,
Oh,
true.
yeah, I didn't see the quote.
Well, he's also had to mod much more than usual with all these raids coming in. So
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yep.
plus, I'll give him some time because we got a while before the raid will proc. But either way, we have. I think Rue is definitely settling into the group, and we've also learned puzzle's bad. We should be slow.
That's right. You don't have a character that just pushes buttons anymore.
We have to push buttons.
Yeah, now we're just going
We
to be
forgot
using...
to get that.
I just love that we're now permanently using Yuki as a walkie-talkie.
Yeah, pretty much. I also have the helmet to use telepathy, but it's easier to just have Yuki do it.
Well, also your telepathy's
Yeah.
one way.
True.
Yuki's two-way, and also you get to pet her while you just hold her up to your mouth like an old school, like find the operator telephone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this is gonna be kind of harder for them to come up with quotes now that Wick's gone because he had basically all of them the entirety of this time there.
There were some for Elise and Dan. We had a few other ones, but mostly it was Wick, yes.
Well,
Yeah.
There we go. El
There
Robot
we
with
go.
100 bits. Quote of the session goes to Rabbit for Tyrant Babe picks up the dog like a receiver.
the perfect thing to
Just-
raid into, like, Bromad with.
Just
Yep. Pick up
Just
the dog like a
Your
receiver.
There you go. There you go, Chad. That's your raid message.
There you go.
All right, we will see you all later. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.